foul my first one. Matt Cross, weightlifting, this is my Pete Leonidas for the 300. That's me, Pete Leonidas for the 300. Is Matt Cross. Except for Matt Cross has to go on. Looks like a Latino George Clooney. Right there. Latino George Clooney, Michael Garcia. Austin Juniors. No? Yeah? All right, got thumbs up. All right. See? Good fun game. Celebrity doppelganger. We'll do it with prizes. How about that?
Hello and welcome inside the Austin Convention Center for match number 3 of the second annual First Point Volleyball Foundation Collegiate Challenge. Next up on center court here is going to be Pepperdine versus Lewis University. Salima Rockwell to my left, Matt Prosser here sideline. Excited for this one. Salima, Lewis fell last night to Stanford. They got a little beat up, so we're going to see some different changes. What do you expect to see between these two teams now in this match?
Well, I think you talked about it with Lewis having to use different players in their lineup, but, you know, Coach Friend said they're used to doing that. They were fine last night. They didn't really skip a beat when they had to sub people in when someone got hurt. So I would expect them to scrap just like you saw last night against Stanford. That team goes hard. And with Pepperdine, they were playing hard, led by their setter, Dvorak, and he has really done a nice job running their offense, and you expect a ton of service pressure coming from Pepperdine tonight against Lewis, and we'll see how much that plays into the match.
Well, you certainly do expect to see big service pressure from Pepperdine, as well as some offensive pressure from their big outside hitter, Jalen Jasper. Led their team yesterday in that that loss against Penn State in what was a 4 versus 5 matchup. Early on in the season, Penn State really dominated after Pepperdine took the first set. However, today a little bit of a different story, taking on number 15 Lewis University, as we get a look at our rosters from each university. Lewis sustaining a couple of injuries to their key players, and one note, Max Roquet is not going to be playing tonight with that sprained ankle that he suffered, I believe, in set number 2 of the match last night, Salima.
Yeah, that was tough to watch, and he went out, it looked pretty bad, and then he came back in the match and really got going, had a little bit of pop at the end of the match, but you know how that goes. Overnight, it swells up. You're probably walking pretty tenderly in the morning, and you got to be smart. It's a long season. We've talked about that before. You got to be careful and really, really measured in what you're doing with your team.
Well, it certainly is a long season, and being that it's the second half of January now, this is a bit of an exhibition, warm-up match for both of these teams, and it will still be competitive nonetheless. Lewis shows a lot of heart and a lot of fight, which Coach Dan Friend talked about last night after the match. He was very happy with.
Well, it's so fun to watch them play. They scrap, they play defense hard, and we're expecting to see that again tonight. And
on the other side of that, Pepperdine expecting to start the same starting 7 that they went with yesterday afternoon against Penn State. I don't expect to see any changes, but we should look to see for more production from Jacob Steele as well as Joe DeLuzio on the outside hitter position in the opposite position.
Well, that's going to be key for them. Jalen Jasper was so good yesterday with 21 kills, really carrying a heavy load for them, and getting the ball to other people and other players is going to be important for them tonight.
Presentation of our teams here in Austin. 4 matches all weekend long here in the Austin Convention Center, run in conjunction with 250 junior boys and girls club teams on site for a national qualifier tournament. But right now we're going to turn it over to the national anthem. Just moments away from starting this match here, but first an introduction of our starters for each team. Nice fan interaction here through the First Point Collegiate Challenge, which has been a very big focus for the weekend's events and promoting the sport of men's volleyball here, especially in the state of Texas, which obviously here in Austin, and you know really well, Salima, is a hotbed for volleyball. Some school here that just won a national championship, I believe.
They did all right. It's big. Volleyball is huge here in Austin, in Texas, and to really help grow the men's game. That's the number one thing. That's the biggest idea behind this tournament with the First Point Volleyball Foundation. And I'm excited to see another exciting night of volleyball.
Exciting indeed. As here we go with the starting lineup for Lewis University Flyers. Actually, Pepperdine will be coming out first. It's number 5, Anderson Fuller, the middle blocker. Setter, number 6, Bryce Dvorak. Here's the opposite hitter, big number 12, Jacob Steele. Had a nice match yesterday. Outside hitter, number 15, will be Joe DeLuzio. Graduate student outside hitter wearing number 23 is Jalen Jasper. And the second middle blocker wearing number 25 is Akinwomi, a high-flying athletic middle attacker. And the libero wearing the white jersey for Pepperdine is number 3, Trey Cole. And in his first year coaching the Pepperdine Waves in Malibu is the alumni setter Jonathan Winder, making that transition over from the women's volleyball side up at Fresno State University, coming back down to a pretty nice spot in Malibu there to take over the reins of his old program. There's the starting lineup and the starting rotation for those Pepperdine Waves. And on the other side, Lewis University Flyers out of Joliet, Illinois. They're wearing the red uniforms. First one out is their setter, number 6, Kevin Calling. Very athletic, very offensively minded setter. Look for him to take advantage of some opportunities. Number 7, new opposite, is Sivor Drolsum out of Norway, wearing number 7. And then number 17, middle blocker, Michael Sack. Starting last night and tonight, a new starter in that second middle blocker position, number 18, Antonio Elias out of Puerto Rico. Number 22 in red will be John Davis, the outside hitter. Alongside him in that outside hitter position will be number 24, Daniel Haber, who actually is giving up his redshirt season for this start today.
No, it's a big deal and a big decision, and it's cool to see him on the court.
And wearing the white jersey, or jerseys, for Lewis, you'll see 2 liberos used. Our number 5, Jason Gibbs, and number 4, Nico Paula. So keep an eye on them. They'll come in and out and quite interchangeable, as we saw last night, Salima.
Yeah, you rarely see the 2 libero system. It's possible. Obviously, you can run that system and look at a passing libero, you look at a defensive libero, and when they're going to use one another. So it'll be interesting to watch that again tonight. But they both got to play in last night's match.
I've only seen it run one other time. It was UCLA Bruins were running it a couple years ago. I think this was about 2 years ago. They utilized that 2 libero system. One would step in during serve reception, the other one would step in during block and defense, and they were just interchangeable. So that's the system that Coach Dan Friend, on his birthday, is employing here today. So happy birthday, Coach Friend.
He's just a young buck.
Doesn't look a day over 24.
No.
There he is. Focused on the task at hand is head coach Dan Friend.
He came over right before the match and talked to us again about you're going to see everybody play. I don't know how he does it. I was thinking that last night. You only have so many subs in men's volleyball, and he manages to figure it out every match. Everyone's going to play.
Personnel management is very key, as you're well aware. Substitution management. There's a look at head coach for Pepperdine, Jonathan Winder, in his first season at the helm of the Waves. And here we go. Lewis will get us started here from Austin. for Davis. Takes a little bit off that time and goes wrist away for the opening point.
Well, really nice job of Lewis. Still getting a swing off of that ball. And the young player out there, Haber, putting up that pipe attack to be swung. I mean, that's a good play. Way to score a point.
So here's John Davis. Didn't get the start last night. Came in to replace Rocket, but getting the start tonight as that serve catches the tape. Here's DeLuzio against the triple block, and Lewis scores the block point.
Michael Sack, big blocker up there. It's hard to hit around him. He's physical. He can take up a lot of space. Independent hands working there at the net.
So a strong start for Lewis here, up 2-0 very early on in set number 1. As Davis continues this service run, goes at steal, and Dvorak gets creative, sets it over on 2, and finds the open court, Salima.
That's a pretty play. Just goes up nice, and you know he's going to be a threat, and when they are down a couple points, he's going to try to do something himself.
Well, one thing to note here for Pepperdine, they have moved their players around. Jalen Jasper is actually playing opposite right now in this match, and Jacob Steele is at the outside hitter position. And that's a bit of a change than we saw from yesterday as Dvorak gets a service ace on his first attempt.
We saw Dvorak go on some nice runs yesterday. It was big in point scoring at the end of their match yesterday, but we'll see. He's got a wicked serve, and that left-handed jump serve.
So the ace is followed up by an error. But look for him to change it up and be aggressive from the inline throughout this match as well.
Michael Sack back to serve for the Flyers.
Michael Sack now will serve for Lewis. Goes with that hybrid, serves at steal. Jasper's first attempt, and he drives it cross court for the winner.
Jasper, their go-to player, super physical, can go over top of the block at any point in time. Want to get him going early, get him confident early on in this match.
Joe DeLuzio with a strong jump serve at Davis. Well passed. Quick attack. Elias gets dug up. Here comes Steele on the counterattack. A little early on the jump. Nice save by Gibbs. Haber from the left side. What a save by Trey Cole, though. Now a free ball. Advantage Lewis. Back set. Drolsom gets blocked by Steele and Akinwumi.
Huge play at the net by Pepperdine. Steele getting over the net, but really that was all because of Trey Cole saving that ball off the block, chasing it down, and big point scoring when Lewis had an opportunity to score with a free ball.
Great camera work right there by our crew, showing that diving save by Trey Cole to extend the rally. Nice pass in. Haber on the left side, challenging Jasper, but missing down the line. Line judge calls it out wide. Dan Friend stands up, looks for some confirmation from his team, and looks like he's going to hold off on that challenge.
Lewis handling the serve well. They're passing well right now.
Another nice pass from Davis. Haber again with the chance, and he gets blocked back by Jasper this time. Nice blocking move that time by Akinwumi and Jasper.
And Haber is going to get his feet underneath him. His first match here for the Lewis Flyers. He's a big physical kid that can get up and go over the top.
Speaking of physical, Salima, Antonio Elias delivering on that ball, the 31 set from Cowling.
Elias, he came in yesterday, started off with his jump serve, came in cold off the bench, and just has not slowed down since.
Good jump serve at the Libra. Akinwumi gets his first attack. It goes off the block, and Pepperdine will take that point.
Akinwumi, another physical attacker. There's a lot of height on the side of Pepperdine, but really how physical they can be.
Dynamic and physical are two key words that Coach Jonathan Winder mentioned to me when I had a chance to speak with him before the match. And that is certainly the case for Pepperdine. They're going to need every ounce of their athleticism playing in the MPSF. It's going to be a very competitive conference this year. So here is Daniel Haber, number 24, the 6'6" freshman out of West Hampton Beach High School. Jasper goes up and over and down for the point.
Jasper, we saw a lot of that last night. Just really can go over top of the block and hit so many different angles. That one he didn't really need to move around, just go over and down.
Goes with the off-speed serve, gets Lewis in some trouble. Here's Davis, though, against the triple block. Goes with a tip, but misses wide.
A couple of unforced errors on the side of Lewis right now. They're handling the ball, getting some out-of-system sets that are in the right spot. And that was the right move, wanting to tip the ball over the net and just missed it.
Elias gets blocked back, but a good cover by Gibbs. Second chance, Drolsom, the lefty, sneaks it past the block and down, and Lewis earns the side out.
Love that decision by calling. Middle was there, middle left side blocker was already bunched in, and a quick set behind to catch him on the run.
So Lewis, after that early lead, they find themselves down by 3. But Elias, a strong jump server, catches DeLuzio up high. And Jasper misses that shot into the net as Pepperdine was out of sorts that time.
Yeah, that was a tough play, a really good serve to force them out of system. And it's just a tough angle for Jasper to try and get that ball over the net.
So Lewis gets one back. Behind the serving of number 18, the Puerto Rican national Antonio Elias. Has been a very good weapon for the Flyers from the back row. From the inline. Another strong serve at Trey Cole. It's an overpass. DeLuzio gets the dig. They go to steal. Haber digs the ball over the net. Fuller gets blocked back but covered. Now Steele. He scores down the line going off the block. And Pepperdine will take the point.
Well, you mentioned it. Getting Steele going a little bit more offense out of him. We're going to expect a lot out of him tonight against Lewis, but doing a nice job already.
Pepperdine getting that point back now, reestablishing that 3-point lead. Steele with the jump serve, but he misses long. In Pepperdine's match yesterday against Penn State, they fought with the Nittany Lions very well on the side out, but they just didn't play as clean as Penn State over time. And we'll look to see if them maybe limit their service errors today, as there's a nice running set. DeLuzio gets it down with the cross-court winner.
That is a phenomenal play by DeLuzio. On the run, scrambling. Pepperdine still able to make this play. And you look at him just drop that thumb down and hit this ball inside the block for the point.
Anderson Fuller now with his jump float. Goes at Haber. Good pass to Davis on the left. Oh, but Fuller in the backcourt can't control that one, and a missed opportunity that time for Pepperdine.
Nice touch off the block.
That one's a little frustrating. I'm sure Anderson Fuller's going to get an earful from the coaching staff after missing that dig as the middle blocker in the back row. Davis with the jump serve now. Goes at Steele. Good pass through the middle, and Akinwumi scoring high and hard off the hands. Bryce Dvorak, the nephew of Olympic gold medal USC setter from the 80s, Dusty Dvorak, back with that jump serve. Bryce's father also a volleyball player as well. Pretty good one too in his own right.
Another unforced error again on the side of Lewis. That set may have been a little bit low, but you got to figure out how to keep that in play when you're in the middle.
Dvorak again goes hard with that left-handed jump serve, but misses through the inline. Lewis is going to make a service substitution. Sack is going to get replaced by Ryan Collins, 6-foot-tall redshirt freshman out of Dublin, California, not Ireland. Goes for the jump float serve. Passed well. Akinwumi hangs in the air and goes cross body. Nice turn by him.
Well, if you can get him going consistently and create that opportunity on both pins with those three attackers right now at the net, I mean, that's going to be really, really difficult for Lewis. You've got to take up space as a middle blocker. Try to take both angles when you're one-on-one.
Easier said than done, Salima, for sure. Drolsom from the back row, and his left-handed whip scores down the seam to earn the side out.
Drolsom had a big match last night coming in for prayer. Now in the starting role, really came alive and helped their team battle.
Calling with a little off-speed jump serve, passed by DeLuzio. They go to Jasper, dug up by Gibbs. Here's a chance for Drolsom again, the lefty, but Akinwumi is there with another block.
Akinwumi with a nice control block, facing back into the court and just catches the sideline.
Good disciplined block move that time, for sure, by the Pepperdine Waves. And that brings us to our 15-point media timeout, as we see a replay of the last point. Good hand placement there by number 25 in blue, directing it back to the court, finding it for another block point. I believe that's his second or third of this first game alone.
He's doing a nice job at the net, but you look at the points differential right now, 15-11, and think about 3 unforced hitting errors on the side of Lewis, so that closes the gap right there. They're playing, they're in the match, but right now Pepperdine's just much more consistent with what they're doing. Their serving attack is good. They are consistent with their attack at the net as well. So right now, just playing a lot cleaner game.
Other than a couple of service errors, they are playing a very clean brand of volleyball at the moment. Jonathan Winder must be happy with that. Meanwhile, for Lewis, it's not that they're playing bad. It's just that the blocking of Pepperdine has really come alive here, and they're having a hard time navigating that ball past the Pepperdine block.
Well, it's big, it's in your face, and some of those unforced errors are because of that. You're trying to hit around it, not right into the belly of the block, and that's, again, something that you don't see on the stat sheet. A block that's in front of you, taking up space and forcing you to hit out.
So back to action as Akinwumi goes with the jump serve, strong at the seam, but misses long through the inline. And Haber now will serve for Lewis. Strong jump serve at the seam, tight pass, one-handed set to Jasper. He's able to attack the block and direct it out of play.
Block just showed up a little bit late, not completely locked out on contact. Jasper was able to think that through.
Jasper now going through his pre-service routine. Goes to that one-handed hybrid serve that misses into the net. And as athletic and dynamic as Jalen Jasper is, maybe I'd like to see him jump serve a little bit once in a while from the inline, but
yeah, and you wonder, you know, I'm sure they work on it in practice and to see how consistent can he be with it.
Elias now, strong jump serve at Steele. Fuller decides to bump it right back to Steele, and it's a free ball over to Lewis. Davis from the left side goes hard down the line with a nice no-look swing right there, Salima.
Just moving it around a little bit, facing into the angle, cutting it across his body down the line, keeping that approach the same. Very difficult to defend.
Elias serving once again, his team now down by 2. Strong serve, passed by DeLuzio well. Here comes Jasper from the back row. He goes down the line for his own point that time.
Coming in fast and hot down the line. That's what they can do, and Dvorak likes to fling it back there to him no matter where he is on the court. He knows he has the ability to just absolutely take over a match.
So outside hitter Jacob Steele gets the service ace.
tough. You know, you serving that ball in the seam, trying to work on Haber a little bit. You know, he hasn't been in there a lot. You can tell that he knows what he's doing. He can pass the ball, but being comfortable in that lineup, playing next to one another is another thing.
Another strong jump serve. Lewis goes through the middle. It's Michael Sack that time scoring on that quick attack. Good high wrist away contact there. Driving it deep to the corner. Speaks to my heart as a former middle blocker myself. Always like to see that. So the Norwegian now. Drolsom with that high toss left-handed jump serve. Good pass in. Deluzio. Oh, that attack looked like it was going out of bounds, but Gibbs tried to play it and instantly realizes he let that one go.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where when you're in it, you want to make that decision. You either commit to it or you don't, right? It cannot half in and half out.
That puts Pepperdine back up by 4 as Fuller goes with the jump float serve. Good pass from Haber. Davis down the line. Jasper takes it off the shoulder, but a good dig. Sack blocked but covered. Drolsom from the back row, and Fuller missed that one once again through the seam.
Well, Pepperdine, again, putting a lot of blocking pressure there in front of their hitters, and when they can get that ball back there, get Drolsom the ball, and hit that ball down the line when they're in a bunch block, that's where they're going to have success.
Davis with an aggressive jump serve, and it turns out as an ace for John Davis and Lewis.
Ripping that serve. I wish we had a radar gun here.
You know, Salima, after watching Lewis play yesterday and watching this opening, said it's almost like they prefer to be losing on the scoreboard because they play better.
Right. When they have to make their way back.
They're a bunch of scrappers. They like to fight for it. Another serve from Davis. Here comes Deluzio. And Deluzio misses deep to the corner. Another point for Lewis.
We talk about the service pressure and point scoring, and the difference between point scoring, because your serve is really getting them out of system, forcing them into a one pass, you have to set outside, or just playing defense and you're blocking defense is scoring. And there are some nuances there. And what they're doing right now it's all service pressure on the side of Lewis. That's forcing Pepperdine off the net and in some hitting trouble.
Now you saw a replay of that last point as Deluzio misses the hands of that three-man block to the corner, and then Pepperdine calling that timeout. But you're right, Lewis. Service pressure from the inline, getting Pepperdine out of system. We saw Lewis miss quite a few serves in last night's match, but you know they've clearly have found their rhythm from the inline here, and it's paying off for them. Jalen Jasper leading all attackers with 4 kills for Pepperdine, then Davis and Drolsom 3 kills apiece. To this point of set number 1, still a long ways to go, and this one has all the makings of what could be a very long and drawn-out battle here in this opening match of day number 2. So after the Pepperdine timeout, players back into their positions. It'll be John Davis to get us back to action. Lewis still down by 1, perhaps right where they want to be. That serve catches the tape, passed up by Reed. Jasper from the back row. Watch out below. Jalen Jasper hammering that one down the line.
He was pleased with himself on that one. I mean, he knew that was a serious attack. I mean, jumping right before the attack line and crushing that ball.
Jasper's 5th kill of set number 1 as Dvorak puts his serve in play. Haber against Jasper, and Haber misses for the hitting error. And now Coach Dan Friend will take a timeout to talk it over with his side.
Well, we talk about the serving and everything right now, but Pepperdine's offense. They're hitting 421 up until right before that last point. And Lewis hitting 100. So Lewis was making their way back because they were hitting negative before the last timeout. So they're trying to find their way back into this match. But that was the service pressure they put on Pepperdine to close the gap a little bit. And now Pepperdine just getting in their face again and forcing them to hit out and hit around the block.
Well, a quick turnaround by Pepperdine reestablishes now that 3-point advantage here in the business end of set number 1. But as we've spoken about, no lead is safe when you're playing against the Lewis University Flyers because they will not go away.
No, they thrive under that pressure. They're ready to come back out and scrap and just keep battling. But Pepperdine playing pretty well right now. They're passing the ball well when Lewis isn't able to really rip the jump serve. They're getting the ball in the hands of Dvorak, but he's still able, even on a 2-pass, to find his hitters, to get the swings they need, and they're hitting pretty well out of system right now.
Bryce Dvorak will get us back to action. 21 serving 18 here in set number 1, live from Austin, Texas. Strong jump serve, passed well though. Here comes Drolsom from the back row. DeLuzio gets a hand on it, but it goes out of play.
Nice play by Drolsom, who could find that outside hand and just tool it out of bounds.
So that side out cuts the lead down to 2. Michael Sack gets ready to serve now. Goes with that jump float, cross court. Reed with the falling down pass. Jasper against 3 blockers, and he somehow finds a way through for the point.
Not get through. It's a missed opportunity. See that on Colling's face.
Extra coaching there from Dan Friend on Cowling's block positioning. Quick moisture maintenance now on the court for player safety. You may be asking, what's on the back of the Pepperdine jerseys? There's some writing underneath their numbers. It's the last name of every player that has come through the Pepperdine program. Really nice touch there for some historical significance of this very storied program there in Malibu. So back to it, DeLuzio with the jump serve. Gets Lewis out of system. Drolsom with the high ball. Dug up by Cole. Jasper on the counter attack, and he goes hard angle for the winner.
And it's so difficult when he's set high and on the net where to defend. You've got a block in front of you, and normally you don't want to be right behind the block. When you're playing against someone like Jasper, you might want to be right behind the block and play it as if it's not there.
Now Jasper has pretty much every single angle to hit when you're attacking the ball from such a high point, as Haber comes right back though and attacks the ball off of Jasper's block for the side out.
We could see that from our vantage point. His right hand just flat to the net, not completely over, and he takes advantage of that.
A lot of seam there for Haber to hit, as you saw on the replay. (20 serving 23). Kevin Colling now, the setter. Strong jump serve, gets Pepperdine in some trouble. High ball to steal against the triple block with nowhere to go that time. Point for Lewis.
Still trying to push that ball into the block and out of bounds, but there was nowhere to go. Another tough serve on the side of Lewis again.
Gets Pepperdine out of system, and they do it again now. Good pass in this time. Akinwumi gets the score through the middle.
Akinwumi high, fast, over the top of the block. Man, if they can handle the ball and just get him going, that's critical. Again, just hitting right even back around the block. He turns his body back into it, but hits over the top.
So our second timeout called by Dan Friend, as Pepperdine finds themselves at set point. Let's just go back really quickly, Salima, about the Pepperdine jerseys, right?
Yes, please.
obviously, real strong history here
Yep.
with Pepperdine and Malibu. Starts with Marv Dunphy, right, has been involved with that program nearly since its inception, along with USA Volleyball. The number of Olympic medalists and national team players that have come through Pepperdine program is a big number, not just indoors, but also on the beach. Dane Blanton got a gold medal playing with Eric Fenoy Moana back in 2000. And, you know, what really stands out to me is that the current head coaches at Pepperdine are both former Pepperdine men's volleyball alumni.
Yeah.
Scott Wong on the women's side and now Jonathan Winder on the men's side. But think about some of the other Pepperdine Waves that are coaching. You've got John Mayer coaches LMU beach volleyball.
Yep.
Brad Keenan coaches Arizona State women's beach volleyball as well. And I'm sure I'm leaving out a lot of other coaches out there. Dane Blanton, he coaches USC
Absolutely.
beach volleyball. So, you know, something that always stood out to me about Marv Dunphy, made great volleyball players, but also great people.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I don't even have anything else to say. That's it. We can just leave it there. You can drop the mic and leave it right there. Well, it's just such a big deal, and it's so nice to see them honor those that came before him. It's important in a program like that.
Certainly is. So set point now for Pepperdine. Big serve. Drolson goes into the block, and Jasper is there to shut it down. Pepperdine takes the opener, 25-21, and leads the match now 1-0.
Here's this final point. A tough serve, and see Jasper get over there and not get used that time. He reaches outside of his body, but he knows how to bring it back into the court. On a trap set, you're going to be in some trouble matched up against Jasper.
So Pepperdine able to close it out, which they weren't able to do in yesterday's match against Penn State. They had 2 chances at set point in the opener, but lost it in overtime. They're able to close this one out and win the first set 25-21 over, again, a very pesky, very scrappy Lewis University team. Playing with some different faces, some new guys, but they did a good job offensively, I thought, and they got Pepperdine in some trouble on their serve reception, so service pressure paid off for Lewis.
It did. It definitely did. But when they were able to get it going, that's where it changed. So Pepperdine, 25 points, obviously, in the last set. 15 kills and 15 kills for Pepperdine, 10 for Lewis. 11 errors on the side of Pepperdine and 10 for Lewis. That's interesting. But 4 blocks for Pepperdine and, of course, 2 for Lewis. So looking at the difference, it's negligible, but a couple of aces on the side of Pepperdine and only 1 for Lewis. But again, that doesn't tell the whole story, right?
Aces and blocks.
That's it.
Quick point scoring opportunities both times.
Absolutely.
And Pepperdine able to get a bigger number in both of those categories in set number 1. As the coaching staff of Lewis reviews the numbers as well. How are they going to slow down Jalen Jasper is really the question.
Well, we always talk about a player like that. You just want to take the edge off a little bit, and that's hard. And what you can do, you can get him on the floor when he's in the back row. You can tip on him as an off blocker, right? Force him to be not completely comfortable with his approach. And that's one of the ways that you can slow a player like him down. Because even if you're not passing well, you still kind of fling it up there and he can attack it. But if he doesn't have a quality approach or a full approach, then maybe you can get a good block touch against him.
Well, as a athletic opposite hitter that he is expected to get a lot of those high sets and the out-of-system balls. That's basically what an opposite hitter does for your team. But you've got the statistics there. Tell us what you see.
Yeah, it looks like, so Jalen's hitting 667 right now, 7 kills on 9 attempts. And as a team, Pepperdine hitting 458 and Lewis hitting 080. So again, that's where you are. That's where the difference lies. Point scoring for Lewis is at 31.8%, and point scoring for Pepperdine is 41.7%. So some big differences there you can see. And again, if Lewis can continue to put some pressure, consistent pressure on Pepperdine from the service line, they've got a shot. But when they're in system, Pepperdine's big, they're physical, they can score out of the middle and from all the pins.
I think the question for Lewis is who's going to step up and be that spark plug on the court. With Max Roquet and Christian Prayer both out due to injury. They're missing sort of that fire starter of a team leader right now on the court. And who's going to step in and do that for Lewis.
For sure. And I love the way John Davis is playing. He goes back to the service line and just getting after it. He's ripping his jump serves. He's got that demeanor, that feel that you're talking about, that I think he's one of the players that can step up and emotionally lead the Lewis team kind of to take the next step in this match.
Now we'll see what happens as this match progresses, but you're right, John Davis, the 6'5" redshirt junior out of Naperville, Illinois, along with the setter. You would expect those two guys to take the reins as sort of the emotional leaders on the court, so only time will tell. But Bryce Dvorak will get us started here in set number 2. Pepperdine leading 1-0 here in Austin. Good ball in, quick attack from Sack, and he goes high off the block and out of the reach of Pepperdine's defense.
Gibbs has been solid, handling the serve receive well, especially that tough jump serve by Dvorak. So if he can continue to do that, they can keep themselves in system.
Sack, the first server for Lewis here in set number 2. Gets the serve off the tape, passed well. Akinwumi gets picked up. Elias through the middle on the counterattack with that quick attack.
It's a nice play. Sometimes all you can do is just get on top of it, throw it around a little bit, and you catch someone moving on defense, and you're going to be able to score.
Doesn't have to be a full-blown hammer every single time, but just a nicely placed shot like that one was, and Sack will serve again. And there's some miscommunication between Cole and Steele, results in the service ace for Lewis.
That's a tough one for those guys. You know, they looked immediately at one another. You want to call that early as possible when that ball's in the seam. You see their servicey pattern, super shallow. They want to take it with their hands if they can on a jump float.
And Jacob Steele was the service target for Penn State yesterday as well. Again on this play as DeLuzio misses, but we have a net violation called against Lewis. So Pepperdine will take the point. One serving 3. DeLuzio with that jump serve now. Passed well from Davis. Drolsom from the back row, blocked back. Miscommunication by Davis and Elias, and the ball will drop for a Pepperdine point.
It's always one or two plays you want to get back. That's one of them. An easy one, a good cover opportunity for a transition play that can even it up. But
now 2 serving 3. Davis again with a solid pass, and the big attack works nicely for Lewis.
Love that. So fast. He comes flying in past 2 attack. I mean, that's the key, being ready, handling the ball well, and then getting full on your approach as soon as you pass the ball.
Cooling with a good jump serve. Here comes Jasper from the right against the triple block, and it's Elias who gets it that time for a Lewis point.
Elias getting himself saved. That's the one off the net in a little bit awkward position. Couldn't keep the ball completely in front of him. They can slow him down in that sense.
Now getting a glimpse of what it looks like for Lewis to play with the lead here in the early goings of set number 2, and that's a service ace for Kevin Cooling. 6 serving 2 to Lewis, and Pepperdine's coach Jonathan Winder calls a very early timeout here to talk it over.
Well, I can get away from you in a hurry, and right now being down 4 points with Lewis having that energy, that lead, kind of the momentum right now, for sure, you know, you want to slow things down. It's early on in the set for sure, but you don't want to let it get away from you.
Yeah, a 4-point advantage for Lewis. It's an understandable timeout. Obviously not one that Winder probably wants to use when he thinks about the flow of a perfect set, but he's got to do something to slow the momentum down, because right now Lewis clearly has a stranglehold on that set momentum.
Again, so much of what's happening right now is the service pressure, of course, and we're looking at, actually I'm getting a nice little feed from my secret statistician who's giving me some really good information with service pressure as opposed to what you're doing defensively, and really what's causing you to score those points. Right now, Lewis with all of it, and Pepperdine no service pressure right now coming from their side of the court. And that's going to be a difference maker. And we'll see how this evolves over the course of the set.
Kevin Calling will get us back to action now. After that Pepperdine timeout. Toss not great, took a little bit off that one. Dvorak goes to Jasper. Oh. Wow.
Oh man, that's not fair.
Nobody up in front of Jalen Jasper, and he makes Lewis pay for that one.
There was so much going on there. The perfect pass, beautiful set that just pulled all the blockers. You saw them just jump up in the air expecting to go to the middle.
That toss got away from Akinwumi, and he misses into the net. So unfortunate follow-up after that Jasper kill. Kind of just takes the wind out of the sails for Pepperdine there. Daniel Haber at the end line now. Lewis with that 4-point advantage here in set number 2. Goes at steal. Big attack by DeLuzio, and he goes wrist away for the winner.
Nice play out by DeLuzio. Again, utilizing that back row attack, and they can get that going a little bit more. They need more offense from more players. Pepperdine does.
Elias with a good move on that, just missing as Jasper will serve now. Gets it over the net this time. Good ball in. Davis challenges Dvorak, and he wins on that attack.
A good play on a tight set. Really punches that ball through the block.
Antonio Elias now preparing to serve. And his serve goes into the net.
Might be his first miss.
First miss into the net. He's been pretty consistent finding court or missing long, but
absolutely
hasn't missed a lot of serves into the net like that one. And now Jacob Steele steps up for Pepperdine. Catches the tape, gets the trickler. Gibbs goes into set. It's tight, jousted at the net. And Davis somehow finds a way to win that joust.
He's the one, you know. Davis is the one that can figure things out, can just really use his grit and his fire to make some things happen. That tight set that was trapped was a fantastic play.
Drolson now with that high toss jump serve gets Pepperdine out of system again. High ball to Jasper from the back row against the triple block, and Jasper gets the point.
It was a great set all the way across the court. I think that was DeLuzio that had to fire it out there to him. Jasper getting the kill again.
Now Pepperdine able to battle out of that as Fuller serves now at Haber. A little bit of a lollipop serve. Haber, though, tips it deep into the court. Here's a chance. DeLuzio gets blocked, but covered by Steele. Dvorak through the middle, and Woomy gets it done.
So, for the timeout, when he was hitting 800. So keep feeding. Back in Woomy.
And that is called in by our line judge, but here comes the first challenge of the match. Quickly called by Coach Friend.
Everyone thought it was out. She was sure it was in immediately.
So we'll go to the challenge system here on site to get this call correct. Should be a quick one. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. The suspense is palpable.
But again, we've learned this system is really good, and they can see everything so clearly. There's no question. So should get a good look at it.
See from across the court the monitor that our official is reviewing the video with, going frame by frame. I need my binoculars to see it, but it looks as if the compression of the ball is going to be perhaps just long. But it looks like we have a verdict. And the call is reversed. That serve is out of bounds.
They all knew. The bench knows. They're hoisting the guys up in celebration.
Good bench challenge right there, and bench victory dance.
Yeah,
See that one on social media later in the week.
That was a team effort.
Sure was. Best celebrations of the weekend. That could be one of them right there. Strong serve from Davis. Here comes Jasper, and Jasper out of the back row delivers.
And that's what you're talking about. That's a two pass, right, just around the 10-foot line at about 11 feet. He's still able to get it back there for him, lead him far enough for him to attack the ball high and over the top of the block.
Comes Dvorak now, gets Lewis out of system. Gibbs with the rundown. What a set. Oh my goodness. Michael Sack throwing it down with two hands to score the point, and Lewis scores an amazing side out on that play.
That'll give you some energy and some fire. Here's that play. Just turned, blocked it. I guess it's a block. I don't know what you call that. It's a thing. It's a throw down, a push down.
We'll just call it the evolution of men's volleyball, and it was a point nonetheless as we get back to it. And Akinwumi goes with the traditional hammer spike through the middle to score that point.
He has been flawless out of the middle of the court. Again, anytime, any opportunity they have to set him, they should.
Running that gap set between him and Dvorak, it's not a traditional front one. It's a little bit slower, and there's some space for him to use his vision and turn it to the open court.
Well, there's so much of that you see now. International men's, they're doing a lot of that, where they're drifting and floating and trying to push beyond blocks. And you're seeing that now evolve even more in the collegiate men's game where they're using it.
Calling with a good jump serve. Passed well, though. Here comes Steele from the left side. Wow, what a swing that time by Jacob Steele.
That's a big swing for him. Steele just unloading cross court. Has one blocker in front of him and takes advantage of it.
Woomy now at the inline, blast that jump serve into the net. Service error starting to creep in against Pepperdine. 13 serving 10 here in set number 2. Lewis with the advantage. Nice pass in. Long distance set this time to Fuller through the middle, and he scores. So Pepperdine continuing to utilize their middle attackers. Now the real question is, can they serve the ball in?
That's a big part of it.
Jump float hybrid. All right, Gibbs. High ball over to Davis. And Davis takes a little bit off, finds that seam between the two blockers to score the point.
Such a smart player. You see him take a little bit off of it right at the end of his swing. He goes up, slows it down, and just chops it off the block.
High toss from Elias, gets on that one good. Passed well though from Steele. One-on-one, Steele goes hard down the line and sizzles it past Calling on the right side of the court there.
But he's got every shot as well. Hits that ball down the line. His one-on-one last time went hard cross court. This one just threads the needle down the line.
6'8", redshirt junior from Jabuco Canyon, California, Southern California suburb in Orange County, as Davis goes up against Dvorak. Ball is called out of bounds, perhaps off the block. But Jonathan Winder is going to challenge this, that perhaps the attack hit the antenna first.
Perhaps. He's looking for some kind of net. You saw Dvorak arguing something. I think that might be it. So
confirmed that it's a challenge, that the attacker made contact with the antenna before the block touched the ball and went out of play.
Well, we'll see what they say because we're not going to be able to see it.
We shall
see. I wish we were over there to be able to see it, but what a pass by Gibbs to get that going in a one-on-one opportunity.
Pretty quick one, and it is confirmed. The point will stay with Lewis, so video evidence does not lie.
There you go.
I'm sorry. That was confirmed a point for Pepperdine. Second official pointed the wrong direction, so
Hold on.
Pepperdine will stay with the serve. Lewis confirming the rotation that they're in. And Jacob Steele will be our next server. 13 serving 14. Pepperdine has fought back now, down within 1. But Steele comes back and misses that serve. Receiver Drolson out of Norway. Strong jump serve from the lefty. Outside set to Deluzio. That set a little bit low, but a touch is called by our officiating crew, and the point will go to Pepperdine.
Yeah, he's telling him not to challenge, and he got it. He did touch the ball.
Pepperdine making a substitution here, so our next server will be number 22, Ryan Wheeler, the 6'7" junior out of St. Louis, Missouri. Transfer from Concordia Irvine in the offseason. Jump hybrid taken by Sack, gets Lewis in trouble. Drolson just has to set it over. Not the best free ball pass, but Pepperdine's able to clean it up, and Deluzio gets the point.
I didn't quite see what happened on that free ball pass, but it was off the mark. So Pepperdine fortunate to be able to score in that play.
Now Lewis will utilize a substitution as Tyler Morgan comes into the game, the 6'7" sophomore setter, majoring in sports management. That's going to put Calling on the left side as an attacker now with the back row setter coming in. And a service error that time from Ryan Wheeler.
This is who you want at the service line. This juncture, that's for sure. He's been ripping the jump serve all night.
John Davis serving now. Lewis still with that 1-point lead here. Strong jump serve, and it's an ace. Finding the seam between Jacob Steele and Joe Deluzio for a much-needed service ace to grow the lead to 2 now.
And with the amount of heat he puts on it, it's really impressive if he's intending on hitting those seams. Certainly that half of the court, but really where he can put the ball.
That time, Davis serves the ball into the net, and the point will go to Pepperdine. Still within striking distance is Pepperdine now. And a lot of game left to be played. Oh, Dvorak placing it nicely to the corner, dealing up his own service ace.
Well, it's a tough serve anyway, because coming from that left to right, that spin on it kind of spins back into the corner, and that one deep into the corner is nearly impossible to pass.
Call that the coffin corner.
It sure is.
Lewis decides to call, I believe, their second timeout of this second set to talk it over. We're tied at 17 points apiece now.
We'll see if there's any difference when they made this setting change yesterday in the match against Penn State. With Morgan coming in, running that offense, getting more attackers when they were in the 5-1, then they could flip into that 6-2 and they double sub. So we'll see if they get more offense out of their players right now. And I talked to Coach Friend afterward, and he said He loves both of their setters, and it's nice to have that option to have them both come in. See if that'll make some kind of difference and just a little bit of a dynamic difference as well.
Drolsom with 4 kills on 4 errors, but it's not so much that he's a 0 at the moment. It's that they have 3 hitters through the front row right now when they bring in Tyler Morgan to set through the back row. So I'd expect to see Drolsom come back in once Morgan gets to the front row so they can stay with that 3 attacker through the front row system.
See before I can keep this going here. A little tail on that top spin. If he comes after it and takes something off of it.
Well, we saw him get a service ace yesterday, follow it up with a service error. This time he goes down the line at Davis. High ball to the left side. Haber blocked, but picked up and covered. Dowling gets it. His first attack. The setter's swinging from the right side, and he gets it done.
Setters love to hit. I'm all about it.
Do they? Tell us about it.
Not necessarily that great at it all the time, but that's a smart swing high off the block.
A couple more substitutions being utilized now by Lewis. As number 12 comes in to serve, that's Jared Phelan. And through the middle, Elias gets replaced by Tyler Simpson, who started the match last night and is now into the front row. Jasper from the left gets a good deflection, and Akinwumi is there to throw it down for the point.
It was close. We're going to see some argument, I guarantee. It was a nice play at the net.
Substitutions on both sides. Brendan Reed comes in to serve for Pepperdine as the service substitution is undone for Lewis. 18 all here. Reed with a good jump serve down the line at Haber. Passed well. Right side to Cowling again, but he misses wide this time. So that attack error gives Pepperdine the lead.
Haber handling the ball well again. And the freshman in and really finding his way here, handling these tough jump serves well.
Overruled by our first official, called out by the line judge, but then overruled. I thought I saw it in, and I was motioning over to Winter to challenge it. And that leads to another timeout by Lewis.
That was a close one. Yeah. It was a good overrule, obviously, and no argument. I thought so. I thought it was in as well.
Well, Lewis now down by 2. They've got to slow down the pace of this game. They call their final timeout of the set. Coach Friend talking it over with his team. Momentum is slowed for both teams as this set has progressed, but at this point now they really just have to pass the ball.
They do. I mean, that's always the name of the game, but certainly in this situation where they aren't having the best time hitting out of system, aren't able to find the floor when the ball's off the net a little bit, they can just groove it in there and get Gibbs to steal some of these balls, steal some of the seams, handle the ball well, and they can score.
And meanwhile, for Pepperdine, they have to keep the pressure on. They know that Lewis can come back. We've talked about it multiple times already in this broadcast that no lead is safe if you're playing against Lewis. Brendan Reed doing a good job coming in off the bench as a service substitution to get Lewis out of system. We'll see what he can do after that timeout now. Good ball in. Morgan goes through the middle, and it's Simpson on the paintbrush. That works that time. So Calling's going to serve, and Simpson. Morgan will stay in the front row, so this is going to be interesting to see what Lewis does here.
We'll see who sets. Yep.
Dvorak goes quick, picked up by Cowling. Haber against the big block. Kept alive, but Jasper had stopped playing.
Wow.
And that's a missed opportunity there by Pepperdine.
That was a great up by Dvorak off the block. Here's the tool. Everyone thinks it's just gone.
Jasper thinks the play's over, but never play until you hear, never stop until you hear the whistle. That's a bit frustrating for Pepperdine indeed, as Lewis ties it up once again at 20-all now.
So again, we'll still see what they do setting-wise with both setters on the court for Lewis.
Easy decision in that in that
defense,
last roll,
yes,
because
for sure.
he only got the dig and Morgan stepped in to set. 20-all now. Tight play. Jasper with the deflection. Picked up by Lewis. Here comes Haber. That ball's going to find the floor, and a point for Lewis.
You got to go back to that deflection. Just positive stuff. Both hands up in the air. Just turn them back to get that deflection on that play, and came back with the kill. That's a huge play at this point in the match.
And now Pepperdine will call a timeout. Down by 1. Oh, no, excuse me. It's a challenge.
Let's see what the challenge is in a moment.
What the challenge is, so. So perhaps they're saying there were 4 touches on the Lewis side.
So I'm going to guess it's a one-touch challenge. If I'm wrong, definitely my bad.
So meeting of the blue shirts there.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what exactly is the challenge call, but I believe they're looking to see. Pepperdine thinks they saw 4 touches on the Lewis side.
We'll take a look at this replay here. Oh, there's a deflection from a front row player. I was thinking if it was someone else. It's fine to me.
So we'll get some clarification when our R2 comes back over here, and we'll do our best to explain what's happening. But
and we believe that's what they were looking at right there, that replay, and a good job from our crew getting that, but I think that was the play in question.
you can see there Jonathan Winder speaking with our R2 official about what is actually going on here.
We'll take a look at some stats while we're waiting for some communication. Even with aces, Pepperdine with the lead in kills, 28-20 right now.
Right when we need the information, we're not going to get it. So Lewis is going to take the point. They'll keep the lead, and we're back to it now. And the serve is missed by Kevin Calling, and just like that, we're tied at 21.
Yep. That's tough. It's a long non-challenge. I think they said that. It was not a challengeable call.
Coach Friend is a little upset with the delay there between points, but Akinwumi gives it right back with his serve in the net as well. So all is right, perhaps. Back-to-back missed serves. Calls it even. Ball never lies.
No, I guess not. Kind of.
Haber will jump serve now. Good serve. This one comes in to steal. Here's Jasper from the right side, and once again, Jasper just goes high and over the block and down.
Just that location of the ball. Again, leading him enough so it's not behind him. We see what happens when it's a little bit behind him and off, then he's not as clean with his contact. Perfect set.
22, serving 22 here. Running set over to Davis. Picked up Jasper with the running set, but Cole just free balls it over. Davis into the block, and then it hits the antenna. Point will go to Lewis. Questionable first contact, but at this stage of the match, you don't want to see a referee blow the whistle and just let the guys play it out. And
we haven't seen a whistle yet this tournament. There's been no No double calls at all. That was some miscommunication. Now they're confused. They think that was the wrong play. Pepperdine's not sure. They went back to serve. But the ball hit the block and went into the antenna.
That's what we saw. And now Tyler Simpson will serve that unique jump hybrid that he does. Gets Pepperdine out of system. Jasper against the triple block, and he hits that one into the net. And this one has come unraveled for the Waves right now.
Yes, there's that serve that was so effective yesterday, and that's the set we're talking about that doesn't lead Jasper far enough into the play, and it's right on top of his head instead of in front of him, and then he pulls it down into the net.
Well, the opposite hitter doesn't always get the best set, right, in those situations. That's one of the things that make great opposite hitters is how they can clean it up. That time against the triple block, you definitely don't want to see someone attack that ball blasting it into the net, but aim for the hands if they can. Look for the deep shot to the corner.
Absolutely.
But now Lewis has reached set point here in set number 2, and Pepperdine has called a timeout. Really, it all started with the service pressure from Tyler Simpson.
Yep.
Pepperdine hadn't seen his serve all match long yet, and that change of pace on that hybrid serve paid off.
It's a different one. He's so big. He's so high. It's a slow kind of approach into it. So it's just really hard to track and to figure out when to pick up the ball and how it's coming at you. He gives everyone fits with this serve.
So set point opportunity number 1 for Lewis. Simpson with the serve. Right at Reed. Here comes Jasper again out of the back row. What a dig that time from Haber. Chance now for the freshman. Roll shot dug up by Jasper. It goes over the net. Lewis is there, but it's dug by Cole. Overpass again by Morgan. Now Steele step closes against the triple block and gets it through for the point.
Pepperdine just staying with that. A couple of opportunities for Lewis, but they're staying with the play, being poised, comfortable. That was a beautiful set by Jasper. Really laid it up there nicely on the outside.
Pepperdine staves off the first set point. But Lewis still one side away from taking the set as Steele will now jump serve. And it's a service ace for Pepperdine. Right on cue.
Huge play.
So tied at 24 points now as Drolsom comes back into the game for Lewis, making sure he's in the right position. But the service ace from Jacob Steele.
Work out their lineup, figure out where they are when they make that double sub. Sorted it all out.
Good pass from Gibbs. Through the middle, Sack goes hard off of Fuller's block. Gets the ball out of bounds.
That was a high game up there. It's a nice play by Sack. Fuller was there, hands a little bit flat. He got the tool.
So Drolsom will serve at set point now. He's been on the bench for a little bit. Let's see if he's ready for this opportunity at set point for Lewis. Makes his serve, good pass from Cole. DeLuzio gets dug by Haber. Diving save. Haber with the good footwork. Attacks but misses. No touch called. I didn't see a touch on the block.
I don't think so. It was a great swing. That's what you want to do. A big dig. The ball's laid up there in the air. He's going high for some hands or looking at the deep corner. That's a great swing by the freshman.
So Fuller now serving a 25 all. Goes back to Haber. Good pass. Outside to Davis. He gets dug. Here comes DeLuzio. Sorry, that was Reed. Tipped over but saved. Haber step closes again and chops it in. Dvorak over on 2 and gets it to fall in front of Drolsom.
You knew at some point he was going to do it. He was going to fling one over. You got to watch out for him. He hadn't been dumping a lot. He dumped that one early on in the set. That's a perfect opportunity in transition when they're on their heels.
Pepperdine has set point here in set number 2. Fuller makes his serve. Setter attack, rattles through the block, kept alive. Looking for 4 contacts, but will play on. Davis attacks from the left side for the side out.
Man. Everyone jumped up looking for the 4 contacts, but they won the point on the Lewis side.
My view was blocked here by the support system, but we're tied at 26s nonetheless.
Dvorak still up there, available.
Davis has an ace in this set. What does he do now here? He misses long, too strong on that jump serve. And Pepperdine gets themselves back to set point.
So we'll see if he goes hard into that corner towards Haber, or if he's going to go straight down the line. He changed it last time.
He has an ace already back to the corner all the way across court. I'd like to see him be really aggressive and get after it. Put the pressure right back onto Lewis.
Gibbs is going to have to decide.
Rips it, gets the trickler, saved by Gibbs. Ball's kept alive. Lewis free balls it over. Chance for Pepperdine now. DeLuzio tips it wide on the counterattack. I can't believe he missed that.
Wow.
We'll play on, tied at 27s now.
That's a tough one. A low set to the outside. Here's the play, the save by Gibbs, keeping it alive. Lewis just staying in that play.
Michael Sachs serving, 27 all. Steele, a high ball out to Jasper. And Jasper drives it through the block for the side out.
Jasper wants it right now. Get him the ball when you're in trouble, even when you're not.
Brendan Reed serving now for Pepperdine, has come into this game to replace DeLuzio. Strong jump serve, overpass, and Jacob Steele makes contact with the net. The point will go to Lewis. Steele confirming that he did touch the net.
On the overpass, hit the net. Yeah, he's not going to argue. Man, that's what a match, huh? What a
Unbelievable
match.
turn of events. Tied up at 28 now. Elias is going to come back in for Lewis into the front row, replacing Tyler Simpson. Calling now at the inline. Rolls it in, pass well by Reed. They go to Jasper on the right. Just unstoppable as Jalen Jasper.
Really, nothing you could do about that, but handling the ball well. Reed, perfect pass, putting them in a position to set Jasper right over the top.
So Pepperdine with the advantage. They're back to set point now. Back in Woomy at the inline. Toss, hammers that serve at Gibbs. Good pass. Here comes Drolsom at the front row. Tips it over, saved by Dvorak. Set is too tight, but Jasper slaps it over. Drolsom again attacks, rattles through, picked up, overpass, and Haber is there to throw it down.
Scrapping on both sides of the court. I mean, these teams are giving absolutely everything they have right now, trying to control the ball. Some of those little plays are the difference, right? Getting that ball high in the air, keeping the ball from going over the net. That's what you're trying to do right now on your side so you can get a quality swing.
Quick maintenance on the Pepperdine side as Haber will serve now at 29 points all in set number 2. Jump serve from Haber. Diving pass. Jasper from the right gets stopped by Elias, and Davis with the double block for the point.
Oh, Elias is jacked up right now. That's why he's in the game. That was the substitution Coach Friend was hoping for. That's what he was looking for out of that sub. Bringing him back in.
Lewis back up to set point now.
Go back to Jasper.
Haber, strong jump serve. Pass well by Cole. Left side to Steele. Saved. Haber step closes. There's another dig by Reed. Here comes Steele again on the left side. Oh, diving save. Elias slaps it over on 2. Nobody can hit that ball. Jasper sets it over to the corner. Davis on the left side, high off the hands, and Lewis takes it. Whoa. Overtime victory, 31-29 to take the victory in set number 2, tying this match up at 1 set apiece. What a set.
Wow, what a set is right. That was some of the most exciting volleyball we've seen so far here at the First Point Volleyball Challenge. That was unbelievable.
I got to stand up just to stretch a little bit after that set. Wow.
Fantastic defense on the side of Pepperdine, just keeping the ball alive, and then Lewis as well. And so many plays that you want to just bank in your memory, but this is the one at the end, the tight set, knowing the block is there. You got Jasper in front of you, a huge block. What are you going to do? You're going to hit as high and hard as you can to try and get the tool.
You can see Jasper reaching out on that block attempt there that just exposes the hands. Blockers want to get those hands straight over the net, not reach out to the hitter. But that was the final point. A 40-minute duration set number 2. I don't see very many of those going well into overtime. 31-29, Lewis tying it up.
All right, we'll take a look at some stats here. Got Pepperdine hitting a cool 414, but this is the difference. Lewis brought it back. You remember when I said that first time out, maybe second set, they were hitting negative, and they brought it back to 100, hitting 246, so found a way to just steady out their offense and play a little bit more clean towards the end of that. Your big attackers right now with Jasper at 13 kills, hitting 409. The middles were cooled off a little bit for Pepperdine. You know, you wanted to get Akimumi going as much as possible, he and Fuller, but really that was early on where they were having their success. But Lewis spreading the ball around a little bit. And how about Haber? Their freshman stepping up, staying calm, getting better as the match has gone on. Hitting 0 right now, but he's done a nice job passing, keeping it under control.
The service game for Lewis, 4 service aces compared to 4 service errors, and that is great.
Oh, that's fantastic. And when you look at, to compare it to Pepperdine, they have 5 service aces with 13 service errors. So, I mean, that ratio is so good, especially when you're just not missing a ton, so you're keeping that high ace to error ratio. That's where you want it. I mean, that's so good. But we know how good Pepperdine is and what a phenomenal physical team that they are, then they'll bring it back.
Well, and you touched on it, the hitting percentage difference by set for Lewis, hitting 0.80 for set number 1, then coming back with 375 in set number 2 is a huge advantage, huge pickup for them in the response that they needed to take that set 2 victory indeed.
And everything, they closed the gap with everything. The side out percentage is closer, the point scoring percentage now more even. So Pepperdine, their group getting together right here, having their own conversation, the starters on the court, really trying to talk about what they need to do, how they need to keep their composure and find a way to come back and win the next set.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they respond in set number 3 here after having multiple chances at winning set 2 and really positioning themselves in what could have been a strong place with a 2-0 set lead, but instead Lewis fights back as they always do, and we're tied up at 1 set apiece now, getting ready to start set 3.
Best server for Lewis at the line.
John Davis rips another one at steal. Here comes DeLuzio back into the game. Blocked and covered, second chance, and we've got a net violation on the Lewis block.
It's play by Pepperdine, getting something going early on. Want to get that momentum. They want to start off strong. Remember, they were in the hole. They called a timeout. Down 4 points early on, 6-2.
Oh, Dvorak this time goes down the line, catches the net, and scores the ace. Really quick serve that time by Dvorak off the whistle, maybe catching Lewis on their heels a touch.
When you've got the middle lined up here, that's a tough play, getting over his head.
Haber from the left side block, but covered. Gibbs goes with a bump set. Smart play by DeLuzio. Here comes Jasper, blocked by Sack. Pepperdine can't bring it back, so another block point for Lewis.
Big play there by Sack, but everyone's got to get out of their libero's ways. I mean, the middles are trying to step in and set the second ball. I don't know why you guys do that. Stop it.
I know. I mean,
Stop
I was a good setter. I got lots of assists when I was playing in college. Only 2 years with the libero back in the day. Jasper from the left side. That time he doesn't get stopped. Over the block and down for the point.
Just elevated to another level.
DeLuzio now at the inline. Early 2-point advantage for Pepperdine. Haber with the pass, running set, goes back to Haber. There's a good deflection. Akinwumi has the bump set. Right on cue, Salima, and Steele gets the kill. So a nice set there from the Pepperdine middle.
Yeah, it happens. It can happen, that's for sure.
Okay. All right, good. Just want to make sure.
It's not when you shouldn't. Get out of the way.
Good deflection on that Pepperdine block to lead to the point scoring opportunity as DeLuzio goes at Davis. Drolsom from the back row, and he misses long that time.
All the momentum right now. This is what they wanted to do. Come out to a fast start. They got Dvorak at the service line. Came in quick. 5-1 already.
Good service run here from DeLuzio. Serve number 3 of this run as there's an overpass. Dvorak, the setter, mishandled that ball. Not too sure what happened, but
he's a little frustrated. He came in fast to cover. I think it just caught him as he was running in. We'll take a look at that. Yeah, he was just underneath the ball.
Colling goes hard at that one and just puts a little too much on it. Misses through the inline, and the service errors creeping in now for Lewis.
Well, it's difficult to maintain that ratio that we were talking about and really keeping the errors low when you're just going after it from the service line. But again, they have to do it.
A good pass from Davis. Left side over to Drolsom. Oh, nice deflection off the block, but DeLuzio can't track that one down.
That's a tough one. You want to stay a little bit deeper again, but if you see a seam and you're in it, and you're caught in the court just a little bit, it's tough to turn around and chase it.
Yeah, there is a big seam there. Fuller getting a good deflection, but just going over to DeLuzio's head. So Haber, who's had a nice match, hammers that serve into the net. Now what can Jalen Jasper do from the inline? Help his team out if he could go on another service run. Goes with this one-handed jump hybrid serve. Passed well by Gibbs. Elias through the middle, throws it down, and that ball will hit the net outside the antenna and be called out of bounds.
Elias, we talked about who's going to bring their team back, who's going to give them energy, and we talked about a couple of different plays, but Elias is one. He can spark fire from a lot of different areas of the court.
He has the spark from the inline here. That's a nice pass. Here comes Fuller through the middle. Picked up. Haber steps into set. Over to Davis. Triple block deflected. DeLuzio with the dig. Jasper from the back row gets blocked. Kept alive though. Steele hits that ball into the net. And all of a sudden the Lewis block has started to figure out how to slow down Jalen Jasper.
They are. They're getting in position. They're over and controlled and just waiting for him to hit over the top. He's going to get his kills. He's going to get his. That's going to happen. You're going to see him bounce a couple, but if they're patient and not try to reach and do too much, they can do something with the ball.
Lewis back to within 2 now. Strong jump serve, and it's going to be an ace for Antonio Elias. Talk about a spark.
Told you that fire, it's in there. That's a phenomenal serve. coming in fast and hard from that right side of the court, just catching a little bit of spin on that side spin on that ball.
6'8" redshirt senior out of Naranjito, Puerto Rico, majoring in aviation maintenance. Goes for another jump serve. Catches the tape. It's an overpass. Sack attacks it, but Pepperdine gets the dig. And Fuller comes right back with his counterattack.
Really nice transition play by Pepperdine, getting the middles going. They got to get Fuller going a little bit, who I learned is the nephew of two of my former teammates at Penn State. That's right. Isn't that amazing?
Family ties.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
No relation to the Stanford women's beach volleyball coach, Andrew Fuller.
No. And there's a jump serve ace.
Name association games, always fun to play.
I know.
7 degrees of separation as Steele gets that service ace for Pepperdine, and they're back to a 3-point advantage. Takes a little off that time. Gibbs with the overhand pass, and Drolsom hammers it off the block and up into the crowd.
Nice swing by Drolsom. Again, they need to get him going a little bit. He's been pretty quiet. A couple of errors here and there. He's been pretty steady from the service line, but I think he's got another gear that he can get going. A nice swing off the block.
Drolsom has been used somewhat sparingly in the offensive system. Well, he's dangerous from the inline. Gets this one over on DeLuzio. High ball to the left side. And DeLuzio delivers that one high off the block.
DeLuzio handling that pass well and then getting himself in position to hit that ball high and off the block. You know the block's going to be there. He's going to have at least 2 blockers in front of him. Nice high swing.
10 serving 7. Fuller at the inline. Jump float right at Haber. Passed well. Drolsom from the back row. Steele gets the dig. Here comes Jasper, and this time Jasper attacks the outside blocker and tools him off the block for the point.
And we see him doing a lot of swinging to the middle of the court, like you said, hard in the angles. A nice turn off the block by Jasper. Good transition play by Pepperdine. Have got to run those longer rallies, get their transition game going.
Fuller still on the inline. Serves at 11-7. Davis from the left, and he goes off the block and out of play.
He's so good at that. I'm curious to see after the match his out-of-system swings, and he's so smart when he's got a ball that's high and just at the net. What is he going to do with it? He never blasts right into it.
John Davis, 6'5", redshirt junior now at the inline. Passed well by DeLuzio. In system, Akinwumi tips it right over the block and down for the point.
Nice controlled pass. DeLuzio handling it well. And there's that smart shot right over the top of the block. That's a tough one to defend.
Dvorak now at the inline. Goes back cross court, but misses wide for the service error.
Back to serve. Flyers.
Michael Sack. Jump floats over to Steele. Overpass. And a huge overpass attack from Kevin Conway. Good sportsmanship through the net there to make sure the opponent is okay after that shot off the shoulder, it looked like.
That's tough. He was right there, right underneath the block. And
credit to Steele for sticking in there after that overpass. Cole can't handle it. Jasper steps in to set DeLuzio. High ball from the right. Oh, right is indeed correct. Gets it through somehow for the point.
How did that happen? Oh, that was a fantastic play, and they're lucky to get out of that rotation. I mean, that's a tough serve. That jump float to that half of the court has been giving them a lot of trouble.
DeLuzio winds up, serves out a ball over to Haber. Here comes Davis, a bit out of tempo from the back row. Steele against the triple block, and it goes off the block and out.
Nice swing by Steele. That high ball played well. Nice tool off the edge of the block. We can get a better look at this. He didn't even have a full approach. Little step close and just turned his wrist a little bit to get it to go out of bounds.
Another strong serve from DeLuzio. It's an overpass. Pepperdine now with a chance. DeLuzio from the big attack in transition, and he scores.
Pepperdine's rolling now. Starting from the service line, getting a couple of overpasses, really forcing Lewis to scramble a little bit here.
Oh, but he's over in a backline violation. Backcourt violation is called against Pepperdine on that one. So Lewis will take the point. And it's Calling serving now. The ball into Dvorak, goes left side. Steele, high wrist away. Good swing there as that brings us to the 15-11 media timeout here.
Steele finishing that play on a tight set. He really just went over the top and snapped over top of the block.
Catching John Davis perhaps a bit by surprise there, hitting such a sharp angle. Giving Pepperdine their 15th point of set number 3. Jalen Jasper, no surprise, leading all players with 15 kills. Followed up by John Davis. So those two really battling for that match MVP title in the Salima Rockwell interview afterwards. We'll see how that plays out.
See how that plays out. But Joe DeLuzio has really stepped up and playing better. He's getting more swings, more effective attacking-wise. See if they give him some more opportunities, a little bit out of the back row, and then just get him going a little bit.
So after the timeout, 15-11, Pepperdine with that 4-point advantage here in set number 3. Kinwumi has moved up to the right side of the baseline, goes for that jump serve, and it's a service ace. What an adjustment. It pays off.
Moving around, sometimes you just need to move around a little bit. Get a different angle. Obviously, you want to attack a certain area of the court, but man, he drilled that.
What does he follow that service ace up with here? Now a 5-point advantage for Pepperdine. Nice high toss. Takes a little off. Davis with the overpass, and this time Steele delivers on it. And another quick point for Pepperdine.
Well, tide has shifted for sure with the service game. They have put so much pressure on Lewis. Aces and overpasses, getting them out of system. That's been a huge difference in this set for Pepperdine. Remember. He didn't even flinch. I think he's all right. Everybody okay? Okay. Yep, there it is. Steele coming through. for Pepperdine. Again, getting Jasper in trouble and off the play. He's completely out of the play here. Half to set steal. That's when he needs to step up, and he's doing a nice job on the left right now. Changing everything. The service is changing everything. Again, not an ace, but a ball that forces everything to the right side of the court. The block can get there, get set. There's nowhere for Drolsom to go. So really good serving strategy on the side of Pepperdine. So before the last timeout at 15-11, Jasper still with 15 kills. We saw that on the screen. John Davis with 11. Pepperdine was hitting 400 before the last timeout, and Lewis at 261. Pepperdine with 7 aces at that point. Tough one. Yeah, he's been up and down with his serve. You know, obviously he knows this, and something he's going to continue to work on and being consistent with that balance between the heat behind it on the float and keeping it in play. Going hard after steal, he's trying to thread that down the line, which he wanted to do. Missed just a little bit wide. They've been serving steal a lot over the course of the tournament. Davis continuing to lead his team offensively and in every way, so trying to get them going again, close the gap a little bit here. Swing. That's what he's done the last couple of times, going high, hands high and deep off the block. That's right where he's having his success. He'll continue to do that as the match goes on, high and flat.
Substitution for the Lions to check the end of the Ryan Barnett, 4-5 Andy Fuller. Barnett back to serve.
No. Yes. Air Force, that's right. There you go. There's another one.
15, 21. John Davis back to serve.
Haven't set a ton for Lewis. They haven't been insistent that much recently. So again, tough serve, creating that overpass opportunity for them to score and run the ball through the middle of the court is big for Lewis. And it was so much. It was Pepperdine in this set with the service pressure, and then that's what we were seeing early on, and now the tide is shifting again. And who's serving and scoring the most points with their actual serve and not just their block defense or transition game. Nice high pass in the middle of the court again allows them to do what they need to do. When the ball starts moving a lot left and right, spraying around the court, that's where they get in a little bit of trouble. It was a good pass in, middle opportunity. Set was again a little bit low. Middle hit that flat instead of getting on top of it, maybe trying to throw it down. But again, that's a tough one when it's fast. Now, for sure, they came out of the gate so fast. They were up 5-1 in the beginning of the set, and that's what they wanted. You could see it. You could see their energy starting off in serve receive, and then Dvorak going back to serve, and he's at the service line again. But they know they need to put their foot on the gas and not let up at all. What? Oh. Oh. Pepperdine was just teeing off, and Lewis hit it, staying in the rally. Defensive efforts. And that last play, definitely going after the hands, trying to wipe off the block. It was called out, and no touch, and Lewis is challenging.
Timeout here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, and they're playing so hard. That rally, there's so much momentum in it. Great defense, scrapping. I mean, that was a feel-good rally for Lewis. Ended on a potential error, but at the same time, this is a nice opportunity for them to talk. It is. Nice play by Haber, but it gets set. There's a lot of room in the block. Middle blocker hung out for a little bit just to wait and see if they were going to fire that into the middle of the court. So give him a lot of room to work with on the outside. They were comfortably in the lead early and kept that lead throughout the match, or throughout the set, but Lewis did make a push. Of course, they always do. Came back with a couple of service runs, getting after Pepperdine, putting him a little bit of trouble, but really it was never completely out of reach. Pepperdine was in control the whole time. This will be interesting. Again, if now Lewis comes out with that same energy, focus, momentum they did in the previous sets, or will it be Pepperdine that just continues to roll? And that seems to set every set. That tone has been set early on, not necessarily just back and forth, and then it gets close at the end. Right. Right. That's a big difference, and Pepperdine bringing it back up. I mean, they're hitting well, consistently well, but to be over 400 again was big for Pepperdine. They were good in transition when the ball was coming back over the net, winning those long rallies that we talked about. So they started off strong with their serve game, but they were winning those long rallies at the end. So their transition game was significantly better as well in that set. Yeah, I mean, it was so fast, it was hard to see. I mean, no one knows. Oh, we're going early. We're going for an early challenge. You got to be careful. You know, you don't want to run out when you need it. But at the same time, I mean, he had line to work with. Hit that ball straight down. It was hard to see. So they're going to go for it. Yeah. See if we can see it from here. Right foot's on the sideline. Kind of. Where's the ball? I didn't see the ball. So they've lost another challenge, the one earlier. That's what you want to be careful about. I mean, I get it when you're, you want to slow things down and it's early on, but there are moments at the end of sets that you need it and you don't have it. He's a very offensive player. I've seen him attack before, matches prior to this weekend and even last night, but you haven't seen a lot of that yet, so it's a nice time to do it. And Steele has really stepped up over the last set and a half. Come alive, hitting high over top of the block, really moving it wherever he wants. But look at him elevate over top, find that seam. Oh, yes, he did. It was a reverse throwdown. Didn't really change direction. He was just kind of a little ingapet and just turned around and behind his head. But how about the defensive play by your middle picking up the ball in the middle of the court? Like Mumi sliding in there to pick up that tip. A little bit of a misconnection, and now Lewis is saying he didn't touch it. And they're letting that go. So 4 contacts on that play. like Ekamumi on the other side of the court. It gives him more room to play with. He can hit that ball across body a little bit. Definitely more comfortable, it looks like, right now. So difficult to defend. You've got the middle coming in. You know Jasper's always an option. He would repeat. Dvorak has repeated to him. And here comes Deluzio right off the edge of the block. There's no help from the right side. The block was there. They were anticipating the right things. You look at the defense of Lewis, but Davis unable to get over the net on that big attack. Very comfortable with what they're doing. Ball control's good. The setting's right where it needs to be. But again, this service pressure has been the difference maker right now early on in this set. Such a pretty set, running forward, laying it back there. Again, with enough room right on the spot where he can get there. Perfectly placed for Jasper. That was a little out of sorts. The ball can't handle the first ball well, and even when it's up in the air, it's not super comfortable. And right now, I think John Davis is the only one that's able to score consistently for them, which is nice to have and good for Lewis, but they need to be able to get the ball to the middles, connect with some other attackers right now, because he can't do it all, and especially when the ball's way off the net. But that's a big challenge for Lewis. So we got our stats here. We had a young person run over, sprint across the court, and get us our stats fast enough. That was amazing. So we take a look at that. Jasper with 19 kills right now, leading all attackers, hitting .424. I mean, he's just been so good tonight. But Dvorak putting all of his hitters in good positions and really distributing the ball well between Deluzio, Steele. They're getting a ton of swings and getting their middles involved a little bit. But The distribution's good, hitting at high level, hitting at 436 right now. It's Pepperdine. And Lewis really, with John Davis leading the way for them and really carrying them right now. That's right. Nobody else is going to score. I got it. Yep. Again, the dangers of having these front row attacking setters. Calling very good at his job. Can do it more. Right now, he's been effective with a couple that he's thrown over. He hit that ball so high and over top of the block. It was unbelievable, and it was alive. It was alive, and they just couldn't track it after it grazed the rafters. Lewis just trying to find a way to get something going here, some momentum in this set. It's not that far away from them, but you can still feel like Pepperdine's completely in control of what's going on right now. He was going right into that traffic where the middle blocker's standing, trying to get it right on his head and over his head. That's where they got in a little bit of trouble in the last set. You know, both teams trying to get after it here. Still would like to see them serve that ball a little bit deeper in the court, out of bounds, try to catch somebody on the way out the door, but we always talk about that balance between tough serving and keeping it somewhat in play. Watch that play. Jasper, it's a tight ball, and he really just smacks at it, turns his wrist a little bit, so it's a really nice job getting that ball through the block that was there and set on a tight ball. Jasper at the serve, Pepperdine. Jasper just keeps it rolling. That serve that he had, that's what they've been waiting on. That's what they know that Jasper can do with his jump float. Has some pace on it. He keeps his arm high enough consistently and just drives it straight ahead. That's what they want from him. Just thumps it. Elias can do that. They have the passing. He's up. He's physical. He can move around the block. That block's there, and he just cuts it right past him. Making the play. That's exactly what you want your middles to do. Handle that ball with their hands, follow it in as quickly as possible so they can be there in transition for the attack. Couple of really nice plays on the side of Pepperdine. Jasper back there with a little bit of a gator on that dig. Handle it. And Deluzio, knowing, wants to go hard off the hands inside on the inside hand of the block and gets it to skip out of bounds. Really nice playing by Pepperdine right now. Jasper continues to get after it. 21 kills now, hitting .457. But I still like the fact that Pepperdine is using their other attackers. I mean, you've got Deluzio with 21 attempts, Steele with 23, Akamumi with 12. I mean, this is good. It's a pretty balanced attack. So they're able to get other people involved, which allows Jasper to just do what he does. When he gets those swings, he can get his kills. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. We're always also seeing, which always works with one another, is a side-out percentage of Pepperdine at 72%. Point scoring from Lewis has dropped to 27, so that's significant. It's so comfortable right now. That connection is there. It's really clicking for them right now. Watch Dvorak go off one foot, but lay it up there in front of Jasper for him to go after it. Right before that timeout, Davis hitting .444 with 14 kills. That's 15 kills for Davis. Really playing well for Lewis, giving everything he can to try and get them going. He's hanging on to it. He's talking about it first, hasn't let go of it. That's a big one. Huge pass by DeLuzio. Perfect pass. Again, that can go anywhere. You can't leave the middle open and available. Can't block them all. I mean, it's really difficult when they're in system. Passing perfectly. Again, we haven't seen a ton of that tonight out of Lewis. We're getting Zach going, getting those middles going. Is big. He is big and physical. And look at Zach. They are right in the gap between the two blockers. Middle is nowhere to be found. I know. Oh, wow. That's a tough one. And then you think about who's going to be able to hit the ball, and that's what they're talking about right then. You got Steele over there available to attack on the left side, so he's not going to want to play that second ball.
Some of the top performers last night for Penn State. Going big here with the freshman, John Krause here at Penn State. Also the Collegiate ball outside here. So you got to give the Libros some credit. Showing some stuff in service, even on defense. From Stephen Cardinal, led by the freshman. You see somebody on the right side. Also, the super stud of Santa Barbara, Will Rodman, that we throw down tonight as well. The Stephen Cardinal.
So the difference is here and coming back out of this timeout, Lewis has to put some pressure here from the service line. I know they can. See if they can get Pepperdine out of sorts. The problem is Jasper's so good right now. They put the ball anywhere on the court, they can get it to Jasper and he could score. Elias stepping up, really working on that block. You see him on the sidelines talking to Coach Friend about his hands and getting over the net properly. So it's a big stuff for him, getting in the right position. Let's see if Sack goes down that line again, or if he goes into the traffic here on the left side of the court. Going hard down the line. Yeah. He jumped up pretty quickly, so we will take a look. Well, heck of a swing. I mean, he crushed that ball straight down the line. Good effort, knocked down some chairs and Lizio, a couple of points here. A big swing down the line after that challenge, getting the ace. Well, we got to first of all see if there's any blood on the court, because we can talk about that. They're going to have to wipe it up if there is. That's happened last night after the two injuries. Well, that's good. That's always good. That's a good thing. We'll see if DeLuzio can hang in there after this bit of a timeout-ish. What? Yeah, I think he's all right, but what a player. I mean, a phenomenal setter. Now we've seen him today attack in that 6-2. Kamumi went on a bit of a run before. We'll see. Well, he missed that one. We'll see if he can go on another one. Just kind of grooves it into the court. missing the block. Davis still able to manage. It's a smart serve, getting Davis on the ground, trying to disrupt his approach a little bit because he's the one that's been point scoring, but he's still able to find the floor, getting up, hanging in the air, and finding it. Good defensive effort, but Pepperdine getting their middle going, especially when Jasper played that ball, then he's not available in transition. They can get their middles going. Well, after that, coming out in that third set, really putting their foot on the gas, they never really let up. Pepperdine knew what they needed to do. They took care of it from the service line. They were way more efficient, continued to get more and more efficient as the match went on offensively, and had fantastic distribution to all of their attackers, and that was the big difference in the match. Of course, Lewis playing hard, scrapping as hard as they possibly can, but Pepperdine was definitely the better team tonight. Well, we talked about the offensive production, and Lewis did make their push back. I mean, even hitting 5-22 in the fourth set. But the biggest things you look at was the service pressure and how Pepperdine was able to score and how they were in transition as well. So for Pepperdine, it was just a solid night. And the number of attacks, so you look at the number of kills, they had 64 kills. And Lewis with only 47 kills. So it's a big difference in the amount of attacks and how they were able to score throughout the course of the match. Sounds like a good plan. So congratulations to Pepperdine on a fantastically played match. Really played well. Well, it's a big win, and that's what you want to do. You have to get better every single night and learn from what you did the night before, and that's exactly what Pepperdine did today. You saw them early on with only 5 aces maybe in that second set, and then they came on. They just kept going with it and really got hot from the service line. Absolutely. Jalen, congratulations. You are the player of the match, so job well done.
Thank you so much. Dude, it would not be possible without my outsides passing nails, my libero picking up every ball in the backcourt, my middle for holding the block, and my setter for just putting the ball in the right spot. Dude, it's all my teammates.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk with you about. Looked like your connection was really good today with Bryce. You guys have obviously been working on that a lot. Just talk about the connection between the two of you.
Yeah. So as you know, I came into Pepperdine after my time at Stanford, and I've had multiple setters over my career, and each one is a little different. And I'm just super thankful that Bryce recognized that when I came in, and we talk all the time. We communicate, we watch video together, and we just really make sure that like every set during practice, during games, like we analyze everything. And it's super fun to work with somebody that is just so intelligent and has such a good sense of the game, because like it just makes my job so much easier, like you saw out there.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, after set 2, you guys obviously had a conversation on the sideline, then you went on the court together and you came out just full steam ahead. I'm just curious about the conversation. What was said between sets 2 and 3 after Lewis took that second one?
Yeah, you know, it's really our libero and our setter. They are two of the hugest leaders on our team, Trey and Bryce. They just wanted us to make sure that we were holding our standard and not playing down to the level that we saw ourselves playing at that game, because there were things that happened here and there, some free ball passes that we didn't put away, some free ball passes that we didn't pass, just some easy balls that we let drop that we knew that we don't usually let that happen in our gym, and just understanding that, you know, like it happens sometimes, but we're better than that and we know that. So coming back out in the third set and really just trying to be clean and playing very crisp volleyball, and I think that's what we did.
You played very clean, very crisp volleyball, so congratulations on the victory, and congratulations on being the player of the match.
Thank you so much.
You got it. You got it. All right, thank you. All right, Matt, back to you. Thanks.
Oh, great insight there from our match MVP from Pepperdine, Jalen Jasper, alongside our one and only Salima Rockwell. That'll do it. Pepperdine takes the match in 4 sets. Don't go anywhere. In about 30 minutes, our nightcap and final match of this second annual First Point Volleyball Foundation Collegiate Challenge will take place. Penn State taking on Stanford. But for now, it's so long and goodbye from Austin.
Pepperdine.